Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and a big welcome to the 3003 subscribers that I now have, and to the 84% who have not yet subscribed. If you are one of those 84%, hit that subscribe button now and join the masses. So without any more waffle, let's get on with today's video. So, today's video, being old, which I am, and getting back into a game like 40k, which is a pretty daunting prospect. It's quite complex, then obviously it has the stigma of being a very competitively minded, focused game now, which can put off many. So, reading yesterday's comments on yesterday's video, obviously sort of prompted me to do this video obviously as well, you know, Games Workshop are slacking. They haven't given us the faction focuses, so I can't actually give you the content that I know you all want. Come on, Games Workshop, hurry up and drop them. But yes, 40k. So getting back into 40k. So I played a lot of 40k right up until 7th edition. It was my main game. I really liked it. Obviously, Age of Sigmar kind of come out at the end of that. But I still played a lot of 40k. When 8th edition come out, I tried to embrace the change and get into it. It was a lot simpler. It did play a lot faster. But the biggest thing that put me off was the stratagems. And I kind of stopped playing and just played more and more Age of Sigmar. Because Age of Sigmar at the time was a very fun game, and it still is my main game that I play. With 9th edition, when that came out, again, I tried to get back into 40k. I dipped my toe into it, and I found that it had the same problem as 8th, which was the stratagems and, you know, trying to learn 30, 40 additional little rules that are very situational, and then my opponents were just so off-putting, and didn't like it. Didn't like it at all. But with 10th edition, I've found that some of the small amount of games that I've played, I've actually had a lot of fun. It's a lot easier to get into. So I figured I'll talk about that. And then hopefully any of you that are wanting to get into 40k and are like of the older generation and not of the... remember the older times and the older ways of playing it, might give you a little bit more insight and maybe encourage you to get an army and jump in. Obviously, there are two ways of playing 40k. You can play Combat Patrol, which is like just picking up the box off the shelf and then playing that. And the rules and everything for Combat Patrol are in the codexes, which is kind of cool. It's kind of what Spearhead is going to be for Age of Sigmar. And then, or you can just play a 500-point game, a 1,000-point game of 40k. So last night, I properly dipped my toe into playing properly by playing one of the local tournament players, who plays 40k every single week religiously, sometimes twice a week, and actually learned how to play properly. And it was very good. So I'm just going to stick up a picture here. This is the only photo I have of said game. As you can see, my Terminators are about to get smashed. They did get smashed. The Custodies do hit incredibly hard, and they all die to the man. In my turn, I basically drove my Executioner around the corner and basically lifted practically everything that was in that alleyway, fighting my Terminators. So yeah, it was really good. But I learned a lot with the game. There was a lot sort of initially coming into from Age of Sigmar into 40k. I had the idea that the game is similar, so it was going to be an easy transition. It's really not. There is so many different aspects to 40k from Age of Sigmar that it's going to be a bit of a learning curve, which is kind of fun, and it's definitely going to be a challenge that I'm looking forward to it. The stratagems built into the detachments is a really nice thing. I feel that if I stick to one detachment and play that religiously, that I'll be able to ultimately get better at that, and then I'll be able to sort of move out into the different detachments and really start sort of finding that niche and the nice way of playing my Marines. But the main reason why I'm getting back into 40k is literally be painting up my Marine army. The more I paint of them and the more I see them on the shelf, the more it's just making me want to play and get back into playing 40k, which is, you know, what we should be doing with our painted toy soldiers. Even so much today that I even went out, and I'm going to have a rant now because so I went out and I got this guy because after having a chat after the game, I wanted a captain with a nice unit that can do a big bit of close combat. And after speaking to my opponent, my friend Dave, who was very good at taking me through the rules and sort of teaching me while kicking the crap out of me, I was like, ooh, a smash captain. A smash captain would be really good. Captain with a thunder hammer and a big shield. That'd be really cool. Here's a new plastic jump captain. Nice new kit. That'll be really nice. I could get him and get a nice big unit of the 10 of the new assault intercessors with jump packs. So I went out and I got them today and opened the box expecting to see all of the loadout. And yeah, doesn't have a thunder hammer or a shield, but yet there's rules. So, like, what's that about? Games Workshop? What's that? You said you're only selling models that have rules and rules that have models. Yet there is no thunder hammer or storm shield, which is very sad. So no smash captain. So I'm probably going to go for a thunder hammer and a plasma pistol. I will be doing a video on him. I will be doing a video part 1 with how I subassemble a sort of character model like that. And yes, I know everyone has said he's not a very nice model and he's very lackluster and he looks just like the generic unit and all of this crap. But you know what? He's quite nice. And I think with a good paint job, he will look even better. So we'll see what he looks like. But in that video, we'll sort of break it down on how I do all of that. But that will be coming very, very soon. And then there'll be a more in-depth character painting video for the Howling Griffons in the members area. But there is going to be a free one on the normal channel for all of you that don't want to be members, but you really should be a member. So 40k as a whole, what do I think of it? It's pretty good. I like the keywords. I like the way it flows. I like the sort of the simplicity. I really love the Prior Nexus mission deck. I'm really hoping the General's Handbook for 4th edition Age of Sigmar is like that. I like the fact that you've got cards for your missions, your deployments, the fact that you only need one deck for 2 players, which is really, really good. So you don't have to both go out and buy one. You just need one between your friend, or if you've got a group of 4, you need at least 2 of them, which is kind of cool. I was looking at them today at the shop and almost did pick one up. But yeah, it's really kind of nice and simplistic to get into. There is a steep learning curve, obviously, with your detachment, your stratagems, your enhancements, the little sort of nuances with units joining, like heroes joining units and how that sort of works. I made a massive mistake last night of not having my chaplain in my Terminators and putting my Terminators in the Land Raider, thinking that'll be fine, you know, it'll be okay. No, because the chaplain would give my Terminators a 4-up feel no pain, which would have been really handy when I met the Custodians in combat, who just annihilated them. So there's obviously a lot of little things like that to learn, and that's kind of going to be fun. But I think for anyone who's worried about getting into it and it being ultra competitive, I don't think you need to look at it that way. I think if you come into it looking for fun, simple games, starting at 500 to 1,000 points, that would be kind of good. And then you can kind of slowly build up to 2,000. You don't have to go to events. You know, you don't have to be ultra competitive. You can play quite narratively. I know that the vast majority of people keep saying, especially by the comments from yesterday's video, that the most people in their gaming circles just play competitively, and people that own shops and stuff or work in shops have said that, you know, things like the narrative books don't sell that well, but the competitive element does, like the Prior Nexus decks. And I think that's kind of sort of the messaging from Games Workshop, as well as kind of how the game, or how they look at the game, and we kind of covered that in yesterday's video. But I think for anyone who's worried or off-put, you don't need to do that. You can kind of just come in quite casual and slowly build up, and you can play to the level that you want. I mean, you can say to your opponent, you know, can you kind of tone your list down a little bit, because I'm not that kind of player. And most people, I would imagine, would be quite reasonable to do it. I mean, you are always going to get that guy who will turn up with that list. But that's just wargaming in general, and every club has that person. Guaranteed, there will be that one person at your club who will turn up with an absolute meta-busting list. And it was fun for him to play, but everyone else, it's just not fun. But try to get yourself into a nice group of people that play it. And yeah, I think I'm lucky that there is that group at my local club that are quite open and quite accepting of new players. And even though I would say a veteran player, I've played games for a long time, but when it comes to 40k, I'm definitely a noob now. I haven't played for like nearly 2 editions. And even coming from like Age of Sigmar into it, it doesn't really sort of, it doesn't help. I get the basics of 40k, of how the new edition plays, because it is similar to Age of Sigmar, but I think the nuance, the little sort of combos and sort of elements like that of how and when to do it, that's the kind of thing that I'm going to have to learn. Like, I did slowly start picking that up last night. I realized that if I had Combat Doctrine on for that turn and I used the Storm of Fire, is it the Storm of Fire? The Storm, something like that, stratagem on my unit of Author Moment, that I could literally destroy whatever I wanted, and I kind of did with my tank. I was shocked at how much firepower my Executioner tank pumps out. I didn't realize it had that many shots. Because I'm not used to units like that, because you don't have units like that in Age of Sigmar. So yeah, it's really kind of fun, and it was kind of nice playing my Space Marines again, because I've not had like proper Space Marines on the table, apart from Heresy, obviously, but like proper 40k, playing against other 40k armies, which is kind of nice. So I'm really looking forward to getting it, and I've even almost convinced my friend Simon at Decrepit Gaming to maybe get into 40k. So Payback's a bitch, the way he did it to me with the Old World. But yeah, it's good. So if you are thinking of getting into 40k, I definitely think to try it. Get a Combat Patrol box, find a faction that you like, find a faction that you want to enjoy painting, and ultimately paint it up, and then get it on the table, and then slowly get a couple of games in. 500 points, build up to 1,000, and then slowly but surely get in. And the good thing is there's a lot of factions that still not got the codex, so technically there's still free rules. And you know, we all bitch and moan about the app, and I do use the 40k app, even though I don't subscribe to it. You can use it. If you get a codex, use the code in the back, and then you get access to everything. And yeah, it is easier to get in. I know YouTube kind of says it's all bad and drama, and you know, Discourse Miniatures will tell you how it's a scandal, but it really isn't as bad as YouTube makes it out to be. Like, remember, we do clickbait for a reason, because that's how the game works. But the vast majority of the game isn't as what YouTube makes it out to be. You can get into it, it's easy, it's not as toxic as it's made out to be. So just give it a go, put your toe in, and have a crack at it. But that's the video for today, peeps. Hopefully, Games Workshop will pull their finger out of their collective buttholes and actually give us the faction packs next week. And then we can actually really start getting into some really good 4th edition content. And obviously, thank you very much to everybody who has subscribed over the last couple of days to push me over the 3,000 mark. I'm sure someone is going to unsubscribe now, because, you know, it would be funny. Thank you. But for everyone that does subscribe, cheers. There's a lot of content coming. I've got a painting tutorial coming soon, and I have a lot more planned, some of the rust elements, and I've got a couple of other sort of stuff like sub-assembly and stuff like that. But if there is any painting stuff that you want me to do, let me know in the comments below, and I can have a look at doing it. But until the next video, I will see you all, and remember to subscribe, like, comment, share, check out my members and Patreon area, and I will catch you all later. Bye-bye.